My wife tells her friends I'm obsessed with her because I asked her not to flirt with guys at parties. Then she makes out with her ex right in front of me while her friends film and chant that I deserve it. When I walk out, she posts stories of herself grinding on random guys with captions like, "This is what happens when you try to control me." At 3 in the morning, she staggers home and says, "Every girl cheats. At least I did it to your face." Today at noon, my phone lights up with over 20 panicked voice messages from her. "Don't do this, please answer me. That's not where this story starts, but it's where the dam finally breaks. You know that moment when your gut starts screaming, but your brain tells it to shut up? That was me in September. Marissa had perfected a party trick. Every reasonable boundary I tried to set became a comedy routine for her girlfriends. It started small, the way cancer does. I'd ask for basic married person etiquette. Don't flirt with strangers, maybe, and she'd smile like a kindergarten teacher and tell me I was being ridiculous. Then came the group calls to her trio of cheerleaders, Tina, Grace, and Leah. "Oh my God, girls, you won't believe what he said now," she'd whisper, knowing I could hear from the next room. "He thinks I was flirting with the bartender." I literally just said thank you when he complimented my dress. The chorus always came back the same: clingy, insecure, controlling. It followed me everywhere. At dinners, I'd catch the sideways glances. "Poor Marissa," Tina would say, like she was discussing a chronic illness. Leah would look at me the way you look at a limping dog: pity, contempt, boredom. I felt myself shrinking under their spotlight, apologizing for the audacity of having feelings. A friend at work, Aaron, saw it in my face long before I admitted it to myself. "Don't ignore red flags just because you love her," he told me over pastrami and bad coffee. I nodded like I understood, but I didn't. Love makes you blind, and deaf and kind of stupid. So I started taking mental notes like a field biologist observing a venomous snake. The pattern was textbook. I brought up a boundary. She flipped the script. "He follows me around the house," she'd joke on wine nights while I got a glass of water. "I can't go to the bathroom without him asking where I'm going." Newsflash: "Where are you headed?" "Isn't surveillance. It's normal." The last straw, before the last straw, was Tina's housewarming. I watched Marissa collect phone numbers like party favors. "Networking," she said, as if swapping digits with Brad, the bartender, might catapult her marketing career. When I suggested heading home, after midnight early meeting, she rolled her eyes so hard you could hear it. "See? Obsessed," she told the room. Laughter, a pat on my shoulder. "Let the lady have fun, man. You gotta trust your wife." Trust, used like a whip. If I flinched at disrespect, I didn't trust her. If I asked for basic courtesy, I was controlling. By the time we reached our car, I'd stopped arguing with the neon red billboards flashing in my face. And then came Derek's birthday party. The place was packed, music thumping, beer cheap enough to smell. Marissa looked incredible in a black dress that could stop traffic. For 5 minutes, I thought we might actually have a good time. Then Logan walked in, her college ex, the one she swore was ancient history. Her voice jumped a few octaves when she said his name, like she was as surprised as I was. I wasn't surprised. Within 10 minutes, she was saying hi, which looked a lot like touching his arm, leaning close, playing with her hair. Tina, Grace, and Leah materialized like a pit crew, whispering and giggling, throwing glances back at me to make sure I was an audience of one. She held my stare across the room, hand on Logan's chest. She smiled. Then she kissed him. Not a peck, not a mistake, a kiss with a time zone. Phones came out, hands clapped. Someone shouted, "He deserved it." I set down my beer and walked out without a word. The door closed behind me, and the party's roar swallowed what was left of my pride. In the car, my phone exploded. "Where did you go?" "Don't be dramatic. Come back inside. You're embarrassing me." It was just a kiss. I drove home in silence, played the scene on loop, and imagined the way the story would be told later. I overreacted. I didn't trust her. I was the problem again. At 11, Instagram lit up. Story. Her grinding on a stranger captioned, "Finally dancing with someone who knows how to have fun." Another story. Shots with guys I'd never seen. New friends who don't come with baggage. Another. Sitting on a stranger's lap during a game. Freedom feels so good. Then a video of her making out with two different guys. Single life hits different. We were still married. Our wedding photos were still on the mantle. Around 2:30, the finale. Her slow dancing with Logan, head on his shoulder, captioned, "Some people just get you." My hands shook. Not just anger, something heavier, like grief wearing a mask. At 3, the front door opened and she staggered in, smeared lipstick, hair wild, smelling like cigarettes and cologne I don't own. "Hey, babe," she slurred as if we were doing a bit. I held up the screenshots. She laughed. "Come on." It was just a party. "You made out with Logan," I said. On camera, then posted it. "So?" "We're not together anymore," she said. "It doesn't mean anything." I told her we were married. She snapped back that I had embarrassed her by leaving, that I didn't know how to have fun. Then she said it like a law of physics. "Every girl cheats. At least I did it to your face." I told her we'd talk tomorrow. "No, we won't," she said, eyes closed, voice sharp. "You'll apologize for being dramatic. I'll forgive you. That's how this works." She looked satisfied, scrolling through the praise on her stories. It hit me then. The mask had slipped. This was who she was when she thought she was safe. The next morning, rock bottom felt like clarity. I turned my phone off. Not silent, off. The quiet was almost holy. I cleaned the house, watched football, ordered pizza, and remembered how to breathe. On Monday, I checked work messages. 3 missed calls from her. No voicemails. Tuesday, I left for work without a word. She was awake in our room. I walked past her like she was a lamp. At lunch, my phone showed 17 missed calls and a chain of texts. Childish, dramatic, call me back now, delete, phone off. By Wednesday, 23 missed calls and pleading texts. By Thursday, 31 missed calls and a roller coaster of accusations, apologies, and self-pity. My favorite. "I'm sorry you got upset. Not sorry for what she did, sorry I noticed." Friday afternoon, my sister Clara called. "She told Mom you're giving her the silent treatment over nothing," she said. I told Clara what happened. Silence. Then, "Jesus, I knew I didn't like her. I did nothing. No calls, no texts, no bargaining. I lived like a person." And when a person who's used to getting their way stops getting it, they escalate. She came to my office building and made a scene in the lobby. Security hovered. Co-workers stared over their coffee cups. She had the look down, responsible dress, minimal makeup, trembling voice. "I'm so worried about him," she told anyone who would listen. When I stepped out of the elevator, she switched to an intimate whisper that somehow carried across marble and glass. "This silent treatment is killing me." I told her it wasn't the place for personal conversations. "Then where is?" she snapped, the mask slipping. "You want to talk like adults?" I asked, voice deliberately loud. "Let's talk about Saturday night, the kiss, the stories, the part where you told me every girl cheats." Silence. Fell like a curtain. She tried to pivot. Drunk, a mistake. Not what it looked like. Which part didn't she mean? The kissing? The captions? The declaration that our marriage was a joke? She reached for my arm. I stepped back. "No," I said. "We're done." Shock, anger, panic, tears. A few people in the crowd softened at the crying. Beautiful women are often believed on instinct. I didn't care. "It wasn't one mistake," I told her. "It was months of disrespect building to one public humiliation." I walked away while she was still pleading. That was a first. The next morning, her mother called me and tried a different script. "You're throwing away a marriage over a little fight," she said. I told her the truth. She minimized, excused, invoked alcohol the way people invoke fate. Then my mother called, already stirred up by Patricia's performance. She lectured me about forgiveness and stability until I sent her the screenshots. The line went quiet. My father's voice in the background. "Son, we're sorry." Evidence has a way of puncturing fantasy. Meanwhile, Marissa staged a sit-in on my parents' porch, crying and refusing to leave for hours. My dad finally told her to go or he'd call the police. She warned, "This isn't over," like a movie villain. By then I was done playing. Defense. I set a trap, which is just a dramatic way of saying I asked for the truth and brought a recording app. "We should talk privately," I texted. "No friends, no family, just us." She replied in under 30 seconds, "Yes, thank you. When and where?" "Saturday, 2 p.m. Her place." She'd staged the apartment like a magazine spread. Fresh flowers, spotless counters, my favorite beer sweating on a coaster, cookies cooling on a rack. She wore a sundress that looked innocent by design. She patted the spot next to her on the couch. I took the chair across from her. My phone in my pocket was already recording. "I've had time to think," she began in a soft, repentant voice. I screwed up. "Help me understand," I said. "Walk me through it." Peer pressure. That was the headline. The girls said I was too controlled. They invited Logan to test whether I trusted her. It was like truth or dare, she said. If she was really free, she had to prove it. When I left the party, she felt abandoned. The stories were revenge, a drunk tantrum. She kept using the words free and control like we were discussing a prison break.